All right, today I wanted to do murder mystery classic Agatha Christie, The Hallowe'en Party. This came out in 1969, so it was one of her later books. I'd never read an Agatha Christie before. I always kind of considered her like Murder, She Wrote, kind of. I didn't really. I don't know. It's kind of appealing, but also like I don't know. I'd rather read other famous mystery authors. So this is actually the first Agatha Christie book I've read. I obviously got it because of this sad pumpkin. Oh, I feel like he's stabbed. He's bleeding. And it's Halloween, so let's go to the Hallowe'en party. So it starts with there's like a famous female murder mystery writer. I think that all these characters are reoccurring, by the way. I think that they're in a bunch of her stories. I know, obviously, the Hercule Poirot guy is, but I think that this lady is too. And her name is, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Arginardi, Arenadi, Oliver. I don't know. I actually listened to someone reading this on YouTube just so I can hear the pronunciation, and I don't know. I was falling asleep, so I don't remember, but it's Arginardi, Radney, Oliver. So she goes to visit a friend that she met on a booze cruise into her little town in England, and she's there, and they're setting up a Halloween party, and the lady and her friend has a young teenage daughter who's sick, who's not going to the party, but they're at the party anyway, setting it up. I don't know. It's some rich lady's house who has no kids, who's hosting a Halloween party. And then there's, people from the town, teachers, the old witch. There's some teenage boys, obviously other teenage girls. So while they're setting up, there's this little girl, and she's trying to impress the mystery writer lady, Arginardi. So she's like, "Oh, I witnessed a murder once, but I didn't know it was a murder until after the fact." And then no one believes her, because I guess this girl's like a pathological liar. She always lies about stuff. And they're like, yeah, right, whatever. So the party starts happening. Everyone's having a great time. And then at the end of the party, they find the little liar girl floating in the bucket where they were bobbing for apples. Someone had drowned her. So we have a dead child. And the police don't know what to do. They actually don't mention the police yet, but the murder mystery lady calls in her friend Hercule Poirot, who comes in from London with his mustache, and he's all dapper, and he's now in small town England to solve this mystery. So basically it's like the stereotype murder mystery, like this is, she wrote, like, I think she was the basis for that stereotype, like if you're going to do a parody of a murder mystery, this is what you're doing as an Agatha Christie, which is like, pretty impressive that you could create something like that. So it starts, like, in the beginning of the book, there is 2 pages of a character list, name, kind of who they are. And when I opened the book and I seen it, and I was like, oh my god, this is like overwhelming. And I started to read it, and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm just going to start reading it anyway. So I started reading the story, and it turns out that if you use that list as a reference guide and not as something that you got to memorize at the beginning, it's actually, so you don't have to memorize it at all. It's actually really helpful. I thought it was cool. I wish all books were like this. So I'd be like reading and I'd forget who the character was. I'm like, who the hell was that again? And I'd flip back and I'd be like, oh, there it is. It's that person. So yeah, that was good. I really liked that. So it was actually easy to keep the characters straight. And so you get, as the Hercule Poirot guy goes around, it's real basic. Just he goes to each person, he asks a bunch of questions. Okay, they tell him something, truth, lie, whatever. He reads them, and he goes on to the next person. And you get little bits of information as the story goes, so you can solve it yourself. It's not. That's the problem I have with like a Sherlock Holmes, where it's like this weird, like, shit that you would never know. Like, oh, that piece of thread was sewn in Belgium in 1902. Only Sherlock Holmes knows that. That's how he solves the mystery. I think that's lame. I like the ones that you can solve along with them. So yeah, he's asking the questions, and I don't know. There's not much to it. It's not a lot of, I guess, personality to Hercule Poirot. He's kind of dandy, like fancy. Is dandy, is that bad? I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it just means you're fancy. And other than that, he doesn't really do much for me. He's very much against crime, and there's lots of like psychology bashing in this. Like, who cares why people do the bad things that they do? Like, who cares about their excuses, or if it's like a mental thing, or it's very black and white. Which, she was older when she wrote this, and when people get older, they get like time's passing them by, and they don't keep up. Like, it seems like the world keeps going and they're still back here, and they have the mentality that like these people are wrong because it went forward. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I see, you usually just see a bunch of old people complaining about stuff, and I think that's what it is. And it was 1969, and hippies and peace, love, and understanding came around, and I'm sure that maybe she mistook it as like, I don't know. It just came off weird. Some of it came off kind of anti-psychology. Other than that, not a lot of Halloween. Not a lot of Halloween in this. There's the party, and this guy, who's awesome. And that's about it. I kind of guessed who the killer was, but it was for the wrong reasons, so I don't want to count it. It was kind of fun. I don't know. I feel like if I went back and read one of her earlier ones, it's probably a lot better. And I think, yeah, that new movie that just came out, I think is loosely based off of this book, but when I read the synopsis for the movie, it just has some character names that are the same, and it's not even like the same ages and same people, so I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with the book, but at least they didn't call it the Halloween Party, so that's good. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for checking it out. Oh no, oh, someone stabbed me. Oh, it hurts.